So let's talk a little bit about OPM, right?
Right.
There's a lot of people that don't understand. They're like, oh yeah, that means other people's money. I'm like, nah, I don't really think that you understand what it means. Let's put it in the context of credit.
Right.
Because first of all, there's a big difference between OPM on personal credit and OPM on business credit. Like if I've got, $50,000 in personal lines of credit, I have to play by rules so I don't jack up my credit score.
Correct.
Like for example, one of those rules is I shouldn't be using my credit cards beyond a certain amount of what's available.
Exactly.
Generally, what's that amount?
30%.
So if I'm carrying debts on all of my credit on average above 30%,
right,
it's actually going to start dinging my credit.
You're right. The moment it hits 31%, you'll see a significant drop in your credit score because to the bank, it looks like you don't know how to manage money. Just because you have a $10,000 limit doesn't mean you should be using that whole $10,000 at the time.
But that's not exactly what's happening on the business side of the fence.
No, it's totally different.
No, because on the business side of the fence, you could literally max out everything you got. And it's not going to personally report on your credit.
No, and that's the beauty of it. And that's why I've been so passionate about this topic, because a lot of people have never heard of that. So you're saying if I get the same $20,000 card, the same $10,000 card, and I max it out for a real estate deal or whatever deal I'm doing, it's not going to ding me? No, it's not going to ding you.
But what if someone doesn't have a business yet? And they're like, well, I want a business. Do they just have to start with personal lines of credit? Or what does it take for them to actually qualify for business?
So if their personal credit profile is in a good position, meaning they have a minimum 680, I prefer it to be at 700. They have a good profile, which means, hey, I've had a couple credit cards
and I've been keeping them clean, right?
And we're keeping them clean.
Pay them off.
Paying them down, paying them off. At least 2 years old. The banks like to see you've done with your personal credit. Now, all you need to go do is go get an LLC. Go get that business. Go register. Go to your
Do they
registry
care
agent.
how much money the business has made?
No, it doesn't.
They just care that literally it was established.
They care that it's established. And
do they care how old that business is?
So the older the business, the more money they're going to give you. But the business could be 2 minutes old. And because you're going to personally guarantee it, they're going to look at your personal credit. The banks are like this, because I always tell people, think how the banks do. They're going to be like, well, Herman, you were responsible with your personal credit. Yeah. We're going to take a bet that you're going to be responsible with your business credit. So instead of give you $10,000 that we would have gave you if you asked for personal money, we're going to give you $20,000 on the business side. And now when your business creates revenue from the money, the debt that they gave you, and you're making these deposits, the bank is going to call you. Hey, you want to raise that up to 40, 50? Because clearly you know what you're doing.
So I actually know people that will go and buy older LLCs.
100%, yes.
It's just like, hey, this was around, established 5 years ago. No one's doing anything with it. And you take it over, and that's because they're going to get more money established.
Yep, now you get credit cards and lines of credit, because banks like to give lines of credit to businesses that are over 2 years old.
How's a line of credit different than a credit card?
So everybody knows how a credit card works. You swipe.
It's revolving.
Hard to liquidate it, right? But a line of credit, I love lines of credit because you could just transfer the money right into your business checking account.
Oh,
right?
Serious?
Right, and you can, and it's interest only. So like me, I got $100,000 line of credit from a bank, right? And I moved it all into my account, and I wired it to purchase 15% of a business, right? That money was making me $20,000 a month now. But you're like, Herman, well, how much that $100,000 cost you? Well, at the time before the interest rates went up, it was only costing me $700 a month because it wasn't a loan. Yeah. You only have to pay the interest on that money.
So you're actually talking about the velocity of money, which most people actually haven't even heard that term. Like the best way I can explain the velocity of money is that when your dollar is sitting in multiple places at the same time making you money, and it's like, okay, give me an example. I'm like, well, I saved up $3,300 as a tiny down payment on my first tiny house. And I bought this house with that 3.5% down payment. And because I bought the house below market, after 1 year of owning the house, I went and got a home equity line of credit. And that home equity line of credit was enough to be a down payment on a second house.
Right.
But really, it was like a part of that $3,300 on the first house was now living and breathing in the second house.
In the second house.
And then I used the equity in the second house to buy a third house.
Right.
And like I remember I got to this moment where I'm like, wait a second, I bought 3 houses on $3,300. My net worth is now over $200,000. I live for free because the basement and the first house pays for everything. The other 2 are rented out, making me over $1,000 a month. I'm like, wait a second, living for free, making $1,000 a month, and having a net worth over $200,000 a month, all on $3,300. Well, that's the velocity of money moving from one place to another, but still earning in the first place. You just gave a great example of doing the same thing, where it's like, well, you have credit cards, you have lines of credit, and it's like, yeah, you're talking about arbitrage.